Welcome to Haunt Topic Radio, the podcast for haunters by haunters. These are our scary visions.
Welcome back, haunters. Is it hot where you're at? Here in Missouri, we're surviving. Stay cool, do what you gotta do, build, decorate, get ready, be safe out there. In this episode, we get Laura on from FearWorm. We discuss guerrilla marketing and how you can get eyeballs on your branding and your attraction without spending lots of money. These are small things you can do with big impact. No, marketing is important. We need people in the door. We need people to remember us. Laura goes over many ways that you can do that. Sparks some ideas that you can implement in your haunted attraction this year. Let's get to it. Me and Daryl been working on some new scare badges, so go to scarebadges.com. Check out our new products we got up there. We have new badges for your crew, new name badges, and everything is in stock, ready to go. If you order during the season, we'll have your product within a week to your haunted attraction. We're prepping up for the season. If you want to join our next masterclass in July, it is July 9th on a Tuesday from 7:30 to 9. We're talking about upsells and upgrades. Make more revenue at your haunted attraction. So if you have a haunt, you're trying to figure out ways to make more money without building another wing or adding something crazy, or we're going to talk about themed dinner experiences, ticket upgrades, special events, VIP accesses, merchandise, concessions, things that you can sell more to your customers. Don't necessarily have to get more customers if you can sell more to the customers you already have. So let's tap into that. And if you want to get an invite to this class, make sure you are on our list, haunterstoolbox.com. Sign up there to be a member. This one is going out to all members. So even if you sign up to be a Haunter member, which is free, you'll get an invite to this class so you can join us in July 9th. And that is with Sean Lippard from Scarehouse, Windsor. All right, well, let's roll into it. Our podcast episode with Laura from FearWorm on guerrilla marketing. And we are talking to Laura from FearWorm about guerrilla marketing and cost-effective ways to do marketing, maybe thinking outside the box a little bit. Laura, while I'm setting this up, why don't you give us a little intro about who you are as we're going into the presentation, you can, and just kind of let us know what's going on and who you are.
For sure. Well, I have a slide for that because I am extra. So, hi, I am Laura. I work at FearWorm. I'm the communications director there, and FearWorm is the first and largest marketing agency that specializes in haunted attractions. So we do different kinds of events, themed events, but haunt is really our special game. So basically, some of these pictures around, I got started from inside of a haunted attraction. So when it comes to haunts, I have been in the sets. I have crawled on the ground, reaching for people, scaring them. I've been characters, and I just fell in love with it. I absolutely just fell in love with scaring people. So what does that say about me? I don't know. Maybe you guys can relate. So we do marketing campaigns, for top 10 haunted attractions across the country. We do work with Penhurst and Dark Hour Haunted House, maybe some haunts that are near you. And I'm very passionate about it. I love haunts, and I've always wanted to talk about guerrilla marketing. So I'm really excited to talk about this stuff with you guys today. Hopefully it inspires you.
Yeah, being from a smaller community, we don't have a big budget. So the only thing I know, I don't know if this technically guerrilla marketing, but like parades and stuff like that, community events, free stuff. Is that kind of what guerrilla marketing is?
Absolutely. The guerrilla marketing, it's like there's this huge iceberg, right? There's so much that falls under that umbrella, but parades would definitely be one. trade shows. The idea of guerrilla marketing is really about firing and using one piece, but how much effect can you get with that one piece? So we're looking for, biggest bang for your buck, large reward, but it's that kind of one singular message. And if I could say that there was one thing that kind of tied into guerrilla marketing that really made it guerrilla is, it's grassroots, but it's creativity. To me, that is really the top point because, are you in a parade or, are you at a trade show? Sure, lots of people are probably there. But if you get creative, you're going to make an impression. And to me, that's why I think this is so great for haunters because we are scrappy and we're creative. And it's just like, man, more people need to be using guerrilla marketing in my mind.
All right. Well, guys, Laura's going to go through her presentation. If you have any questions, go ahead and type those in the chat box. We will get to those as we go along. So tell us about guerrilla marketing.
Yeah, sounds great. So in this presentation that I put together for you guys today, we're going to start with the definition of it. I'm going to talk about what it's not, because I do think there are some confusing, messages when it comes to guerrilla marketing. We're going to talk about creativity. I'm going to go through some real world examples. So that way you guys will actually be able to see visually some things that qualify as guerrilla marketing. We're going to talk about how the big guys do it. So, guerrilla marketing can be small scale, but it can also be large scale. So we'll look at what that looks like. We'll have a little bit of a cautionary tale too with guerrilla marketing, which is fair. I think we need to learn what not to do sometimes. And then I'm going to give you guys some ideas, hopefully. So we'll get to it. So the definition of guerrilla marketing, it's basically, using non-traditional marketing tools with limited financial or other resources to influence a customer to make a purchase. Jay Levinson wrote, he's like the founder of guerrilla marketing when it comes to that. So definitely if you want to, further your research in this regard, Jay Levinson is going to be a name that you'll want to mark down, put in your notes. You can Google him. He's got some books. But the main point of guerrilla marketing really for me is that it's very scrappy. It's a little bit psychological and of course, very creative. So let's talk about what it isn't, because I do think that's important. I put my logo on some pens and I'm giving those out for free. Like, everyone else is dressed normally. I wear a costume, so I'm sticking out, right? I put a vinyl wrap on my work truck for my business. We handed out flyers. I made a video and I posted it to Facebook. These are all some things that you may do for your business, right? And actually some of the above actions really can be considered guerrilla marketing. I mean, you may use some of those tactics, but what really makes it guerrilla, what really makes it is going to be the creative part of it. And so that's kind of why I say here, like creativeness is at the core of this. And it really can give you, as a small business, a strategic advantage over the big guys if you just really put a little bit more thought into some of the stuff that you're doing. And sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to put more thought into it because you don't have the big guy budget. You have a smaller budget and you're really trying to make all of those dollars work, which is why I really do think guerrilla marketing can be so great for haunts.
I think Scarlet badges are one of the smartest things I've seen in the industry in a really long time. Scarlet badges are basically either pins or embroidered patches, kind of like merit badges, as they are, somewhat named after, from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and Brownies, and where after you've accomplished something, you can wear the brag tag of the embroidered patch. Some haunts put them on jackets, some put them on t-shirts, some put them on, with the pins, I've seen them put them on lanyards. But the neat thing about them is they are very specific in what they are rewarding. And they're haunt-based images that reflect what's being rewarded. It's retention, it is bringing people back, and it's actually giving your haunters, your haunt performers, the ability to share that they are haunt performers. And, oh really, you're a scare actor. Where do you do that? And then they will insert the name of your haunt right there. So it's also marketing. I've always been a big fan of Scarlet badges. I think they're great. So check them out, scarletbadges.com. No, that is not a paid advertisement. That is just my recommendation. I think it's really cool.
scottswinson.com.
So when I say creativity is king, that's really what I'm talking about. It's like perfect for haunters because of that. And it's because we're so used to, having little resources. Like, I'll be honest, I've seen Alan Hobbs dive into many a dumpster. Like, to me, that's like textbook example of we have few resources. Like, what are we going to do? But anyways, it's creative. Like, this image here it's mistletoe, and it's something that Fear Factory put together. Depending on how they use this or what they do with it, to me that's really creative. It sticks out. It's something extra. We used it for a social media campaign. We took images of it and used it as some of their holiday messaging. It's weird, and we're the weird kids in the room. We have reasons to be weird, and that gets attention. So anytime you can get attention, it's always good. So let's look at some real world examples of guerrilla marketing, because I think it's important to kind of understand what I mean by this, and what I mean by the creativity behind it. So the first example that I picked to show you guys is we did these door hangers for Legends of the Fog out in Aberdeen, Maryland. Now, Legends of the Fog, it is a really great scream park. They've got 4 attractions and a really cool midway. It is an experience when you go out there. But one of their attractions is it's a hotel, and it's called Farewell Hotel. And could Legends of the Fog could we have just designed regular coupons, and could they have just put those in a box on a counter at a gas station, or any other place in the community? Well, sure, yeah, we could have done that. But taking this a step further, we used the haunted hotel theme to kind of think, okay, well, what's in every hotel? Do not disturb signs. And then as we kind of further thought about this, it was like, then this whole tagline came about: do not disturb. That's our job. So it's Legends of the Fog. It's their job to disturb you. So it's kind of like this play on theme, play on words that we twisted, and this became their flyers for the season. And there was a coupon at the bottom, that could be used online. But now this is a piece that they could then take into the community, which is definitely part of guerrilla marketing, getting out into the community, and just getting in people's faces, disrupting the norm. This becomes something you could go to door with. This becomes something that you could partner with local hotels or something, and maybe have a weekend where you put these up. Really, you never know what somebody will agree and let you to do unless you ask. So part, I think, of guerrilla marketing for your business is also being bold and knowing when to approach other businesses. But there's a time right before Legends of the Fog, right before their season, where there's a lot of sports going on in the area. Lots of soccer teams are coming in and out of the city and all of that. So they'll book up these hotels and everything. So to me, the do not disturb sign, this was something fun and kind of outside the box. And of course, these were really, really fun to make for Legends. Another real world example comes from Hauntington Beach Manor. And this one was kind of fun. The owner of this attraction had 100 severed ears that they made in-house, and they made them look grotesque, of course, put little tags on them, and just put them out into the community. Just if they're in a store somewhere, purchasing something, leave a little ear. If it's a park bench somewhere, maybe it's right outside of a Starbucks. I don't know, but they were delivering these things everywhere in the community. And so these tags were on every single ear, and it kind of told the person what to do when they found the ear. And there was a series, basically it was a contest, and it was a giveaway, and they were giving away free haunted house tickets. And you just had to go through these steps. But even if they did enter the contest, if they didn't enter the contest, this is still a brand impression This is something that the kids were talking about. There were posts about it on social media. Some people actually did go as far as, tagging the attraction and doing what we wanted. What we did learn through this is sometimes you can ask them to do too much, and it might be a lot. So I would say if you're doing these contests, make it super easy for them to enter. But either way, severed ears around town, that's very haunty. It's very scrappy, and it's guerrilla marketing, and it did its job. Here is another real world example of something that we did with Fear Factory in Salt Lake City. This basically cost us $0. I mean, really just time. We spent time with this character, and he is exceptional at improv. He is one of those characters. And if you're working at a haunted house, if you guys are haunters, you probably can think of the character that might be like this at your haunt. Most haunts have at least one, but there's someone you could put in front of the camera that is just natural. They're naturally good at it. They're good at entertaining in the crowds. They're good at just riffing. Those are the type of characters and talented actors that are really great to work with for guerrilla marketing type opportunities. It's just, you put them in front of the camera, and I mean, it just evolves. Like, it's so good. So this is one of the Fear Factory's characters called Carl Mossman, and he is effectively the caretaker of Fear Factory. And he's creepy and weird and very suggestive sometimes, and it gets crazy. Sometimes I worry that he might have people actually buried there, but Gabe is a really great guy, and he's super great in front of the camera. So we decided to do a social media takeover with Gabe, with his character, Carl. And oh boy, did it go crazy. So basically he just took over control. Well, we didn't really let him take control. We faked it, right? So we just went through behind the scenes and wrote a bunch of posts to make it look like the character took over. What things, would a haunt character do? Well, they're probably going to have words that are not spelled correctly. There's going to be erratic spelling. It's definitely not going to look like a brand wrote it. I think at one point I even used like a toilet paper roll emoji. Like, I've never ever used that in my life for marketing, but we used it for Carl. So he took over the social media pages. People were not ready for that. We didn't announce it was coming. It just happened. So it got a lot of attention. And what we ended up doing with this is it was all about disrupt. Just disrupt. We even changed the profile photos and the cover photos of Fear Factory in areas that we could do that. And then we sent out an emailer, which is what you'll see at the very far right side of this slide. The emailer let everybody know we've been hacked, and it's just like, we're working on it. So we even responded to it professionally as the brand. And we got word that during the school day at one of the local high schools, people were actually talking about the fact that Fear Factory had been hacked. It actually got out, and people were talking about it because somebody mentioned it to one of the owner's daughters. And then she was texting her mom, like asking about it. And then, of course, we didn't tell Spencer Terry, which in hindsight, I may go back and let him know next time, because we didn't tell him we were doing this. So he kind of freaked out. He freaked out and thought the world was ending. And then we had to say, oh, sorry, Spencer, this has been planned. We've known about this. We did it on purpose. We let him calm down for a day. And then he came back and was just glowing reviews. He was so happy about it, because then everybody was coming to him. And it was the topic of conversation everywhere he went. So it really kind of landed in a big way because it got attention. It disrupted. And next time we'll just tell Spencer. So tell your boss.
So disruption then is kind of one of the keys for guerrilla marketing, because it's not just what you would normally see in the flyers that you put under people's windshields. It's something that stands out.
Absolutely.
Disrupts what people would normally expect of you.
Absolutely. And I think that's why it has the effect that it does. Because if it was just any other flyer, if it was just any other pen with a logo on it or something, sure, is that leaving a brand impression? Yes. But in today's society, in the world where we're so distracted by all these teens have their phones in their face all the time. Go somewhere for dinner and look around at everybody. They've all got their phones in their face. It is just, we're all so distracted. So anything that you can do to give some meaning, to pull their attention, it can be hard fighting for attention, but that's why if you do it the right way with a little bit of creativity, it's going to be memorable. You'd be surprised. I mean, what just some door hangers will do, or like this slide right here, looking at dark hour. We had to wrap the van, that was a project that we were already going to pay for. So when Alan came,
this is creative.
Thank you. When Alan came to me and we were working on this project together, it took me 15 hours to finish the design on this graphic. It was a beast, but it was one of my favorite projects that I did for Dark Hour. I loved it. So the idea behind this was, is this a driving billboard? Well, absolutely. You want to make sure the logo's on it. You want to make sure it's catchy and fun, and it feels like it belongs to the brand. But we went a little further with it, and we put a big cauldron on fire right there, just kind of, you can see it, the driver's seat, so now when Alan is driving the van, you won't believe how much fun he had with this. He was like a kid in a candy store when we first launched this with Dark Hour. He would, at stoplights, pretend he was frying and sizzling. And that's the extra. That's the fun. That's the creativity behind guerrilla marketing. And we were going to do this anyway, so we were going to do the van wrap anyway. Why not?
You just took it up a notch or 3.
Sure. Yeah. It costed the same. They didn't charge us extra, So this is just, that's the scrappy hauntiness that we need.
Do you know what causes haunted attractions to shut down before they even get started? The top 3 roadblocks are lack of funding, lack of leadership, lack of resources. As a member of the Haunters Toolbox, you get instant access to the tools you need to start and grow your own haunted attraction business. To get started, become a member at haunterstoolbox.com.
So now that we've seen, some real world examples, some stuff that I've had a hand in here and there, let's talk about some large scale stuff. And maybe this will be inspiring for you guys. Maybe you know about it too. For Smile, the movie Smile that launched in 2022, there was a viral marketing campaign that happened. These actors would, go to these ball games that are, nationally televised and just smile. All they did was smile creepily, but they did it in the line of the cameras, right? So it's on TV. All of a sudden it hits social media. People are talking about it everywhere. And it's just this, they've got these fluorescent t-shirts on and perfect seat choices, right? Because they were in that line of the camera. And then all they had to do was smile. And it's just brilliant. When this started unfolding, I remember just being so excited about it because I love ideas like this. So what did they have to pay for that? Tickets to the game, they probably coordinated it beforehand a little bit. I definitely know that there was a marketing team that was involved, right? Paramount. I have it here on the slide, but the idea behind this was they wanted it to go viral. So this started as a conversation, probably in some conference room somewhere, and they're talking about the movie and, okay, what's the movie? Smile. If you've seen Smile, you know what it's about, but this is so simple. It's simple and complicated at the same time, but it really, really got the message across. and it built hype and people were talking about it everywhere. So that's the kind of idea, right? It's this one action that gets you this really big, big reaction. So I found some performance data on the Smile campaign, and media impressions, 3.5 billion from that. Organic social media views from this content, 158 million. Social engagements, 14 million. So this is what happens when the big boys do it, right? There's definitely money involved. There's definitely, some big brains sitting at a table figuring this stuff out, but the impact is there, and you can see what kind of an impact can happen. Another really great example from what I would consider like the big boys, right? Movies, production company. Here's It. Does anybody maybe remember It from 2017? How simple, but also awesome is this? Red balloons. Red balloons communicate it so easily and seamlessly. So anytime I see a red balloon, I think of It, I think now. And so they tied these to sewers and a little bit of a stencil and some spray paint. It is closer than you think. It movie with the hashtag. This was actually a combination of marketing agencies. One of them is a special guerrilla marketing agency that specializes in it called Showtime Marketing. And the other one is a creative agency. And those two agencies were then hired by this other company. So again, we're talking about some boardroom, right? Some conference room where a bunch of people are sitting around, but they're thinking about these type of campaigns. There's reasons they do that though. And it's because of how much effect you can get with just that. I mean, there's this versus just running an ad on Facebook that would be the trailer. What to you is more memorable in that moment? Oh, that red balloon I walked by on the street, for sure. So it's definitely out in your face. Like we said before, disrupt. It's messing with your norm. It's not something you would normally see. So with that being said, here's kind of that cautionary tale slide I mentioned earlier. You have to, with guerrilla marketing, yes, be creative, but you absolutely can go too far. I could see haunters going too far.
Really? No.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I'm sure you might even have someone in your mind like who would go too far. I could think of several people, but one specific thing to think about is, could you spray paint? Could you do this? Could you do that? Is it going to get noticed? Could you take apart a park bench and, and like build something crazy there or whatever? Sure. But we want to be careful about what you're doing and just definitely consider that public and local authorities, they're, going to be paying attention. They're going to notice it at some point, and you could potentially get in some trouble, like with Smirnoff, with this campaign here that I have on this slide. They did some spray paint. They did like wall art, right? Well, the local authorities decided to teach them a lesson and actually fined them for it being, I think, vandalism is what they called it. Graffiti, right? Vandalism. So could you get in trouble for stuff? If you cause a big fuss and they decide they want to do something about it, sure. So just use caution. Let's be smart. So here is the part of the presentation where you guys are probably going to think I'm crazy and weird if you don't already. Maybe you do. I don't know. So as I was building this for you guys, which I want to say again, thank you so much to Brian for inviting me to do this because I have wanted to talk about guerrilla marketing for haunts for a while. I love it. So as I was
passionate about it, we can tell.
I am. I love guerrilla marketing for haunts. I love it.
It's good stuff.
So absolutely. So I kind of just started randomly coming up with ideas along the way. And so I scribbled them in my notebook and then I put them, I tried to put it together in a slide. But so let me walk you through this. Okay. So idea that you can steal number one. I call this the crush me proposal. So what this is, the idea is inspired by prom proposals. And the way I see this playing out is you put out some type of a social media campaign or something, and you're asking for, it's not a prom proposal, but what you're asking for is someone to ask someone for them to go to a haunt with them. So the end goal is we're giving a free ticket away. And the idea is, ask your crush to come to our haunted house. Like if you, do this proposal video, and you formally ask them to go to the haunt, like go to the haunt with me, like ask your crush is going to be for free. Like the ticket is for free, or maybe it's your tickets are for free. So the end gift is that you're giving away a haunt ticket or 2 haunt tickets. But the idea is you make it fun for them, and your ideal candidate then may execute this like they would a prom proposal. And it'll be a little embarrassing and fun for the right person, because this is about their crush, somebody that they're into or something. Some people are going to be shy and not want to do this. So you're probably not going to get a million submissions, but that's what you want, right? So the idea is you inspire them with a social media campaign to get them to film this proposal, the haunt proposal, right? Go to a haunted house with me. And it's the asking process. So they film that video, or somebody films it rather, of them asking their crush to go to a haunted house with them. That video then gets put on social media, and they use a specific hashtag, or they tag the haunt some way for you to track it, right? And to me, I think that would be really kind of fun. If you executed it in the right way, somebody might do it. Prom proposals are always really fun content to watch for Gen Z. I think they really get into that type of stuff. So I feel like people would enjoy watching these. But there might be something to that. I don't know. You'd definitely have to iron out the details, but just an idea, maybe a haunted house date proposal video, and for somebody to ask their crush. I think it would be fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, something kind of cool. I don't know. You use it or don't, or be inspired. Number 2 is kind of funny, because I actually pitched this one back in maybe it might have been 2016. Let me tell you, Alan was like, immediately, he was like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, we're going to get in trouble. He's like, I don't know. So Dark Hour Haunted House has werewolf themed shows. And I came up with this idea where I thought it would be great if there was this huge werewolf carcass that was like roadkill. And maybe you put it in a park or somewhere where it's kind of like a public area, and it's got a dog tag on it, right? Because it's a big dog. Werewolves are just big dogs. They're big puppies. So a little tag, and it's got a metal piece on it that has a phone number that you can call, and it's like Dark Hour Laboratories or Fear Factory Laboratories or whatever it is, right? But then they call that phone number, and then there's a voice message there, and it kind of, in a way, haunting story type of way, tells them about your show that's coming up, but in a way that's on theme. To me, I kind of thought it would be funny, because I mean, when people are commuting and stuff like that in the morning, you're driving, what do you notice roadkill, like you see it. I'm not expecting that we put this in like huge public intersections or something where it would cause problems. We definitely don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't want any car accidents happening from werewolf carcasses being on the road. So maybe use this one with caution. But to me, I think, werewolf carcass just out in the world, that's something you don't see. I mean, would it cost you money? Well, you'd have to build the carcass. Might be a lot of hair. I don't know. But maybe there's something here, and it's guerrilla marketing. It's thinking outside the box. It's interrupting what somebody's normal day would look like. And I would look at it. I would walk up to it. I would look at the tag. Yeah. So anyways, so that's my idea number 2.
That reminds me of how they used to do the, I don't know if they still do them, the drunk driver displays, and they have a crash car, and usually some schools put them on, and there's actually kids involved, and they're laying up on the car and stuff.
Oh, sure.
So that's like, that kind of reminds me of roadkill and being on the road and violence, and but that definitely would get my attention. Right?
It would get my attention. I would you may even get some complaints about it. I don't know. We had a very scary billboard one year that just everybody complained about. But to me, I just patted myself on the back for that. I was like, I did my job. This is a scary billboard. You were scared of it.
Did they
Right.
complain about it on social media? Because sometimes any news is good news.
I like the way you think. I really do, because
There's sometimes you can go a little too far, but if you push it right up to that edge, maybe just a little step over the line, so it's only
Yes.
slightly controversial. They talk about it. Other people complain that they talked about it. It goes around. What comes around goes around. Suddenly you got twice as many people seeing it and coming to your haunt.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
So if 80% of the people like it and 20% of the people pissed off, you did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an
80-20
80-20 rule for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tyler says that billboard caused an accident. Okay, that is maybe a little too far. The road sign idea is kind of funny too, because you couldn't put those on the road because I'm sure there's laws about putting signs on the roads. But if you had it in the middle of the park, a public park where where a couple of pathways cross, and you put up the werewolf crossing signs, and then have a ran over werewolf in the middle of that intersection in a walking path, right?
I love this. I love that idea.
It's just so stupid that people would see it, because especially if you have the werewolf crossing sign, because if that's going to pique people's interest and you have those 10 yards away from this intersection, and people turn the corner and see that intersection and see a werewolf lying there, run over by bicycle tires or footprints or something.
Yeah, no, that is.
And then his dog tags the big, come see me at the name of the haunt.
Or like, if found.
Yeah, and they're not in their car, or they're actually walking, so they have their phone right there, so they can just get a close up of it.
And then you don't have the street signs on the road that are going to get you in trouble with the local authorities.
See, exactly. This is what you do with guerrilla marketing ideas. You definitely want to play it safe.
Somebody watching this has to do this year and send Laura and us photos. Video would be even better.
This is your challenge if you choose to accept it.
Damn right. But it might not be the only challenge. You got one more. What's this? It's not a spa, or is it?
This podcast episode sponsored by Scarlet Badges.
We always were looking for ideas to get those actors to take it to the next level. I really want to do something that they can use more than just a meal, or they can use more than just a that a boy, that a girl. They love this stuff, but it's not really promoting a haunter. And then I sit down, Scarlet Badges comes out. That's when I realized this is amazing, because not only is it giving them an attaboy, but it's also promoting them all year round. And to promote somebody, to give somebody accolades all year round and have them be able to wear it on their shoulder with pride means a lot. This right here says this is who nailed it on this day in this year, for the rest of their life, for the rest of their haunting life. And that's what I really love about this product, is you're able to give haunting to somebody an attaboy 365 days a year. And that's, so hats off to you guys. I think this is a great product, and I wish you the best of luck, because it's awesome.
Get your Scarlet Badges at scarebadges.com.
Oh gosh, this one is ridiculous, you guys. Yeah, I
like these ones haven't been.
Well, good, touche. So this is number 3, and it's not a spa, or is it? So I was really inspired, and then just it randomly twisted in my head. So here's this idea for you to go to a trade show or a community event where you're allowed to have a pop-up booth. And the idea behind this one is, we don't want it to look like a haunt. You want it to look like it is a massage booth, or somewhere where they're getting stress relief, or, kind of spa wellness vibes. Because to me, behind everything that we do at a haunted house, entertainment, sure. But at the very core of what we do, we're stress relief. Are we not? Like, when people go to a haunted house to get scared, they're screaming, whatever. On the way out of it, they feel great. They feel like $1 million. They may be a little sweaty or confused about what they've seen, but in a minute, they feel great, right? So we want this little pop-up to look like a spa, and even go as far as maybe having someone getting a little foot massage or something kind of off to the side. And then you have someone else manning it, that's checking people in, is the idea that I have in my head, like a look for it, right? So you want to advertise like stress relief, like free stress relief or whatever it is, right? But then before you even get them, like these two people here are actors. Like that, this is not a real person getting a massage here. So before you even get them to the free whatever that it looks like they're getting, a monster comes busting through the center of the booth. So I don't know if you can see this on your end, but there's like a white line that divides that booth down the center. So in my mind, this is a fake booth, and there's a haunt actor that's behind. And so the haunt actor's job then is to just catch the poor unsuspecting individual that thinks they're about to get a massage off guard completely and just come charging and scare them, right? There's going to be a scream, there's going to be a reaction. Hopefully no one gets hurt, but probably some laughter that happens afterwards. And then it's like, oh, here's the coupon to our haunted house, you don't want to come see this guy this weekend or whatever. To me, I feel like this is a step above some of the guerrilla marketing ideas. It's like really out.
I see something totally different here though too.
Uh-oh.
Where you have that white line,
okay,
if that's the right-hand door, you open the right-hand door and her legs are cut off and the sign changes to massacre, and then the monster comes out the left side.
Okay.
So instead of massage, you open it up like a fake door, and the sign changes to you want to massacre instead.
I want to be on a team with you. Like I feel like we need to be a team. And it's like
anytime, Laura. Just we'll sit around and talk about stuff that
I love it. I love it. There you go, guys. Do the massage massacre.
Yeah.
Someone's buying the domain right now. It's probably Tyler. Anyways, so that's it's not a spa, or is it?
So in this situation, would you have somebody that's handing out like coupons or business cards or something like that also there? That's after the scare, and
after the scare,
right?
There you go. And
or a free ticket or something, or
sure, if they're upset,
I'm sorry, here's a free ticket.
Here's a free ticket.
Now, in a chat, Craig has got a wild idea. They took one of their key characters, the Pirate King, to random area businesses and made him shop. He went to a gym and he was made to get into haunt shape. The lady at the gym made him go through a full workout in costume. He then went to a pawn shop to try and hawk his peg leg. And he went to a smoothie shop and requested rum in his drink. So just having one of your characters do something silly like that in public. We have the same idea for a Krampus group that I'm involved with, that it's a little on the warm side, but we have people willing to get into their Krampus costumes for Christmas and go around and be normal everyday Joe, shopping for clothes or having an iced latte or something like that.
That's awesome. I love that that's just a part of people's lives, and they didn't ask for it, but they get it, right? That's so cool. But that's definitely it, right? And having the pirate go around town and trying to sell his peg leg, that has me right there. That's freaking amazing. I want for there to be people that still talk about that to this day. Like they're at Thanksgiving with their family and they're like, this one time this pirate tried to sell me his peg leg and it was so weird. Maybe they're talking to their therapist. I don't know.
The only problem with doing that with the pirate is you can't show it everywhere because it's rated R.
Pirate jokes.
Always gonna get me.
I'll show myself out. Okay.
What I was trying to think, love Craig's idea, but could you turn that into like an email campaign and a social media campaign, like create a whole story around this pirate and his peg leg and his drinking problem or whatever,
Pirates are known for stealing things, right? Well, let them take over your social media. I mean, that right there, steal access to social media, that could be really, really fun. But yeah, that's definitely right up there with the stuff that people will be remembering and talking about I would love to see that. I want to see a pirate take over.
Right.
That's awesome.
Now, just remember, you kind of have to okay that because some businesses might not be too happy with that sort of thing. So check with them, make sure you're okay to film something. And some other businesses are just going to jump right on because it's free advertising for them.
Sure. Or they might just be bored and want to see what happens. You never know.
Yep.
Could be just some girl behind the desk going, hey, man, have at it. We'll see. All right. Well, so that was my third steal my ideas. If you want to, I realize that they're weird. I'm sorry for that. Here's
I
some.
love them.
We like weird.
Thank you. Thank you. And you made them better, which is even freaking more awesome. So here's a whole slide basically from that book I was mentioning on guerrilla marketing by Jay Levinson. He goes through and lists there's like 200 weapons or something of guerrilla marketing. So I mean, if you go and look it up online, or I think there's even an audiobook you can listen to on Spotify. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of those. But I went through that list and just tried to pull a couple things that I thought would, first, free, something that wouldn't cost you anything. And it's an area that you can either advertise your haunt or put information in. So, social media content, of course, what's that going to cost you is really just time and maybe even some resources when it comes to makeup, actors, things like that. But it should be really fairly easy for you to get some good looking creepy people in front of a ring light and pull some stuff off, which is what you see here. That's my friend Bree in front of a ring light being creepy. She's so good at it. She's an actor at Midnight Terror in the Chicago market. So one, social media content, so that's free and easy to coordinate. Personal letters. Now, I don't know for haunted houses, but maybe are they ransom letters? Are they threatening in some way? I have no idea. But handwriting anything, creating something that's not just in print, and doing anything with that kind of handwritten, handmade, something that you have advertising your business is always going to get a little bit of extra attention. Number 3, press releases. Of course, press releases are great. Now, press releases, people that review those, they get lots of press releases every single day. So with this types of thing, getting media attention, getting people to write articles about your haunt and stuff like that, definitely try to find that angle. What is that different, crazy thing about my haunt that is different from everything? Or instead of a press release, is it a press box that just randomly shows up at your office one day, and it smells like a Froggy's Fog scent when they open it, and there's a severed finger inside or something, or whatever it is. Halloween Horror Nights does press boxes and stuff like that. I've seen some really cool ones that they've done, like when Jack, I don't know if there's any HHN fans here, but when Jack came back to HHN one year, they did these really cool, like Jack in the Box press boxes that popped open and everything. And some of that stuff could probably just be made in your shop. Maybe you make 15 or 20 of them. Yes, it's going to cost you some resources. Yes, it's going to cost you some time, but really put your creativity into it. Make it tie in with the theme of your show. Like if it's a pirate show, maybe it looks like it's a treasure box, maybe even it has some cool chains around it or something. Maybe it looks and smells like it's been under the sea. I don't know, but there's so many different levels that you can go to this to get that attention, to get someone to talk about your show. Number 4, community bulletin boards. Now, is this just the flyer that you see everywhere that is advertising, I need a roommate or something? You don't want it to look like that, but do something that disrupts. It looks like it belongs, but also it doesn't. Could you do something that looks like those little flyers that, you rip off the phone numbers to or something, but it's kind of funny and a little scary in a way? Sure. But it's just really the time of making the flyer, printing them out, and then going out into your community and pinning them up. I mean,
Or
if
even missing or wanted signs, maybe,
there you
stuff like
go.
that.
Really
Mhm.
push that scare factor, I love that. Dark Hour one year, as part of one of their shows, had like this big like rave party type of atmosphere, where it was like EDM music and like like lots of lights and craziness, and it really did look like a rave. So we made a party flyer that looked like one of those like underground party flyers that get passed around at colleges, that like you find it and you're like, oh my gosh, like you passed it around with your friends and stuff. It looks a little sketch. Like if we go, we may not come back home because this looks a little scary, but it was just really an advertisement for Dark Hour. And I thought that was so fun. We went and put those out in places, and then even had social media content where, it was like, hey, have you seen these around? Like, that's weird. So community bulletin boards, it won't cost you too much, just a little bit of resources and time. Window displays. I cannot tell you how many times I have always wanted to have a real life actor mannequin that's just inside of a Dillard somewhere as part of like advertising a haunted house,
Mhm.
just somebody working at that mall is your friend, and you're scaring people because they're not expecting one of the Dillard's mannequins to move. Malls are kind of getting a bad rep lately. I think there's a lot more like dead malls than there are really active ones. Most people are buying online and stuff now, I think. I mean, do people ever still shop at malls? I know they do, but they're not quite what they used to be. But could you still have fun with that, at the ones that people are still going to? Um, I'd love to see that. Jay Levinson mentioned canvassing as part of some of the ideas. So for number 5, I have that listed. Canvassing is really just like that. Think back to the Legends of the Fog door hanger, right? You're just going out into the world, putting those out around town, not necessarily going door to door, but like I guess you could knock on doors and talk to people if you wanted to. That might be a little too much. Number 6 is forums and groups. So any forums or groups that you can join as your haunted attraction, Facebook groups, all of these things, just being active in your city and being present is a great way to have free visibility and to get your messaging out there. List building, we talk about that a lot at FearWorm because it's one of those things where if all you have are your followers on social media and you don't have a list, like what happens when Facebook goes away? What happens when TikTok goes away? Where did all of those followers that you've spent all this time trying to get, where did they go? Do they just disappear? Well, that's why list building is something that's really important. And coming up with ways to list build is really free, and should be something that you're thinking about for your businesses. Like, how can I get someone to sign up to an email list? How can I get someone's phone number and get them to opt into a text campaign? So that's what we mean by list building. Email signature, I kind of thought that was a funny one. It seems kind of common sense, like but it might be something that you're not really thinking about. But that is one, when you're sending emails for your business, or really sending emails to anyone, your email signature is right there. So using that in a particular way, having it be a little bit different, not normal, not your standard everyday email signature, could be a good way to get a free impression right there with someone on the other end of whoever you're sending that email to. Landing pages. Most of us have websites for our business. How much does it cost to create a page on your website? Use your website as a tool for marketing, or for some type of guerrilla marketing campaign that you come up with. That's definitely a tool at your disposal that you could creatively do something with. Blogs. There are some haunts that blog. I know Scare House is one of them. And they do a really great job putting out some creative content on their website. And what blogs are going to do for you is it really helps your SEO on your website. So if you're talking about the production, or maybe it's a blog that's focused on, your monsters, it's talking about the level of makeup detail. I mean, costumes. Costumes would be a really great one, because when people go to maybe create their Halloween costumes and stuff like that, they may find your how-to at some point, and then it's like, oh wait, this haunted house, I've never heard of this haunted house. There's so many things that you could do with that. Podcasting, so like this, putting together podcasts and shows, being a guest on a podcast. I guess in a weird random way, like I'm kind of guerrilla marketing a little bit right now for FearWorm, maybe. I'm being a
Oh,
guest
we've been
on
taken.
this show. Inception.
Yeah, but especially if there's something like there's often podcasters that, what's happening in this city, or people in this city, or events that are coming up.
Yes.
Track some of those people down and say, do you accept guests, or do you want to talk about horror? Do you want to talk about screams, the power of screams, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
There's
And
ideally local ones, or
those
ones that are nearby.
Lifestyle, local, I would call those like lifestyle bloggers, local influencers. Right now, my favorite would be micro influencers. Those are the people that don't have like, hundreds of thousands of followers, but maybe they have 10K, maybe they have 8K, but they live in your area and they've got a pretty good following. I love the micro influencers because I feel like they do a really great job of still being human, still being genuine.
Yes.
They typically kind of have that feel. And I think sometimes working with the bigger ones, like, you may get people that look at your haunt that are states away and stuff like that, maybe even in a different country, would be the type of follower that they might have. But yeah, like you said, local, that's really where you should focus for that. And then joint ventures, I know that sounds pretty simple, but there was something that we did with, I think it was a laser tag facility, one of our clients from our sister agency in Austin. And they did a special version of their laser tag event, including zombies. And they did it by partnering with House of Torment in Austin. So House of Torment, this was like a little brand shaking of the hands, if you will. House of Torment provided the zombies, and our client that was the laser tag facility provided the laser tag event. And then they just cross promoted that, and it became, a different type of event that you could buy a ticket for, but it was a different type of experience, right? Zombies and laser tag. So that's kind of this joint venture. What could you do in your neighborhood working with one of the other businesses? Another caveat to that would be choose a business that has your same target market, or has like the same feel or brand values that you do. If there's just some other, and maybe you even can think of the type of business that I'm talking about right now for your show. Usually, locally, you'll know which kind of brands are just fitting that vibe. Those are the ones that you really want to focus on and try to work with. And often, if you feel like it's a good match, they're going to feel the same way. And it's just going to be that partnership that really does something for both of you, So that's the joint venture. And then banner exchanges. That's one of those, hey, if you don't ask, you never know if it's going to be a yes or no. So be a little bold and hey, you've got this banner that you had printed up 3 years ago that's just your haunt logo and your website. What business could you partner with and say, hey, do you have a banner? Like, I'd love to support you. I'll put your banner up at my haunt during the fall when thousands of eyes are going to be on it. And then will you in turn put this up at your establishment? So again, just something free that you could do to help get your business out there. So that's
really good idea.
And this is the end. So I just put little Laura and some hearts.
Hit
so you
me
can
up.
follow me if you want. If you have any questions about this, I love guerrilla marketing. I love hearing about ideas too. So if you guys get any inspiration, I'm actually in your haunt master group now too. Post in there if you guys get great ideas from this. I would love to hear that.
Do you try to incorporate a piece of guerrilla marketing with each campaign, or is it
So some of this stuff just kind of happens when you get to meeting with a client, you get inspired by their brand, I don't know, I can't say that we go to plan to do this for every single person, but it definitely just happens, we get into learning about the haunt and we hear about the characters. Some of the haunts we end up doing, creative shoots with. So then when we're boots on the ground actually at the haunt, and the sets are inspiring us and the actors and everything, that's really when some of the stuff happens for sure. But I think I just have a little bit of a knack for it maybe, or I just like it because like I said, I didn't notice that I was doing as much guerrilla marketing until I really got down into the meat of it and was attempting to teach it and explain it, and then it was like, oh wow, that was guerrilla marketing. So I love to do this type of stuff, but it just kind of happens organically. Haunts are so inspiring. It's like, and it's easy to kind of let those creative juices flow and to let the characters inspire you and all of that. I think that's part of why I like this industry so much. It's fun. It's like a playground, it's work, and it takes a lot of work, but man, really, really pays off when you're loving and inspired by what you do. So
All
very
your passion
lucky for that.
shows. So
Thank you. I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much. And thank you so much. Like I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to help you with this. This was really fun. This was a great topic.
well, I know that all of our viewers, people that are on our forum, are going to get a lot out of this, because
That's great.
just bouncing those ideas, you may have had an idea and then you find out that's kind of what the pros have done, or that's what the famous people have written about, and you'll rethink that and hopefully make that successful.
Yeah, absolutely. This type of thing could work for haunts, I mean, because we live in this twisted, haunted world. I mean, there's so much I think that a haunt really could get away with in being that creepy neighbor next door, and because it's a safe way to do it, it's not, really threatening. It is the fun way to relieve that stress.
Well, for our podcast listeners, tell us where they can find you again, Fabio.
Oh, sure. Well, fearworm.com is our website. My email address, if you have any questions, or just want to shoot something to my inbox, I am Laura, Laura, at fearworm.com. Or you can find me on many social platforms at Laura Scares.
All right. Dan Fopel says great stuff. Dale says great content. I think everybody learned something here. So
Oh, Dale is he works at Aura. He's one of our clients. Hi, Dale.
I guess you guys are always looking for clients to work with, or
Well, yeah, absolutely. Our marketing agency, I mean, I think our full service deadline is approaching. So as of June 21st, we can't take any more full service accounts, but that doesn't mean we can't help you with some of the smaller parts of your campaign. So between now and the 21st, if you guys are looking for maybe you want to work with a marketing agency, maybe you want to know more about what that would be like for your haunt, definitely hit us up. There's still time to be full service, but we can help you advertise on TikTok, any of the social media platforms. If you've been curious about Snapchat, if you need a radio ad produced, we can come up with those and direct those and get them produced for you, run them on Spotify. We do websites and logos and creative, and we even do social media for some of our clients, email marketing. FearWorm is multifaceted. I mean, we definitely are one of those full service agencies that if you need it done for your haunt and it's considered marketing or advertising, we definitely can do it. So hit us up if you guys are interested in working with FearWorm. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm sure everybody got something out of this. I know I took a couple things away. I was making notes myself. So
good. I like to hear that. You have to let me know. Yeah, anybody that does anything, I definitely would love to hear about it. I'm happy if it inspires one person, that's it.
This podcast episode sponsored by Scare It badges. Get your scare badges at scarebadges.com. Also sponsored by Haunters Toolbox. Take your haunt to the next level at haunterstoolbox.com. Thank you for listening to Haunt Topic Radio. Please leave a comment wherever you found this podcast. Each comment you leave will help spread the word to other haunters around the world. See you next time.